Hey there YouTube, welcome back to a slightly later than planned black powder update. It's been a very interesting month. I went through a beast painting session on my coarse space figures. I really enjoyed painting them. They really seem to paint up quite fast. If that's something that interests you, then I suggest going over and taking a look at that video, because the figures are they're great miniatures. But back to historics. I did actually say in that video that my update would be about a week late, and it's actually ended up being practically 2 weeks late. I've kind of had problems with my right shoulder, and that's been causing me a lot of problems, not only walking but also sitting down and painting. So I've only been able to sit down and paint for, or at least for the last couple of weeks, in sort of maybe 10-15 minute sessions. And if you add to that a horse painting block, which caused me some real problems to do with what I've actually ended up doing. So for the amount of time it's taken to do literally these three things, they've taken way longer than they should have. But at the end of the day, I'm happy with them. So let's show you what I've done. They're all brigade commanders. These are things that have been hanging around and niggling away at me, and I've wanted to get them done, but I just haven't had the sort of the motivation to get them done. Here's the first one. I've designed this guy to be my Hanoverian brigade commander, even though my Hanoverian brigade at the moment is obviously not 100% historical, because it's got two of the wrong brigades. But also it's another at least two infantry battalions down at the moment, which I do plan to do. That's sort of like the next sort of major section after I've finished these guys and my odd bits I've got left. So here we go. This guy's from the Warlord command pack, the Waterloo one. He's quite an interesting figure. He's not really doing much. He's just kind of looking through a telescope. I did decide to put him on a normal trotting horse rather than the sort of munching on grass horse, which was my first sort of choice. I thought I'd have this guy sort of like, he's trotting along the road. He spots something on the horizon, and he gets his telescope out to have a quick look. And his base is pretty simple. It's basically just a roadway. It's nothing super special. But I think the figure came out okay. Obviously this guy's not really the full rank. I think he's supposed to be more of an ADC than an actual brigade commander, but seeming I base my brigade commanders on these smaller stands to allow me to put more troops on the table. I think it will work out, and it's a nice figure. I really do like it. And of course, it's quite easy to turn somebody into a Hanoverian officer just by adding the yellow sash there. So yeah, a nice figure. Horse-wise, I decided to go for black, or well, I suppose it's actually very, very dark brown, with black tail and mane. But I think it turned out okay in the end. Like I say, I've had massive horse painter's block. I really struggled with just painting three horses, even though they're actually relatively easy to paint, because I tend to do my horses in 3 stages, and I think probably the black horse is probably the easiest of all the coloured horses to actually do. It's even easier than brown. So I really sort of went for the easiest route possible on horses, but I think they turned out okay in the end. You can see he's got his eyes there. Like I say, it's not exactly black. It's more of sort of like a really, really dark, as dark as you can get brown, with just the black mane and tail. So yeah, that's the Hanoverian brigade commander. I think he turned out okay. Next up, we have a British brigade commander. So let's bring this guy in. I did have a spare Perry's infantryman hanging around, so I decided to add him to the base. This guy is actually a full-on brigade commander, Salas, with his twin pauldrons. Tried to make him as regal as possible. Funnily enough, this is one of those figures that when you look at him unpainted, he doesn't actually look that amazing at all. But as soon as you kind of got paint on him, he actually turns out to be like quite distinguished and actually quite a cool figure. Even though you get that sort of little bit of warlord pony syndrome with the slightly smaller horse. But yeah, I really do like this figure now. And you can see that he came out pretty cool. He's got an uncovered shako. Nice sort of facial expression. He's got a sort of the black horse, but with a little bit of marking on his nose. And he's also just trotting along the road, and a similar sort of style to the Hanoverian officer. So that is the British Brigade Commander. He'll probably replace the first the standing brigade officer that came in the original starter set. Although I do tend to keep him around for now until I actually find a proper replacement for him, because I do actually quite like the figure. It's just that he's just not really regal enough to be a brigade commander. Now for the last item, basically another brigade commander, this time a French one. So we'll bring this guy in. Again, this guy is this guy's actually a Perry's. Beautiful figure from the Perry's Colonel's pack. And I actually built this guy's base up a little bit, so he's sort of passing a little bit of sort of raised ground. I think it came out quite cool in the end, actually. There's cat hairs all over it because my cat's decided to make the corner of my painting table her new bed for the month. She tends to sort of change her favourite place to sit, and if I just sort of swing the camera, if I just take the camera off the bipod for a second, or the tripod, you can see that she's sat over there on top of one of my boxes of paints. And of course, with a cat comes cat hair, so lots of problems with having to keep my painting desk clear of cat hair, which is very hard to do because she's still molting. But there you go, a little bit of an extra addition to the normal video schedule there. But let's get back to this guy. So let's get back to him. This guy, I did actually paint this guy up from a little bit of what is that? Oh, there we go, it's gone. I thought it was a paint chip for a second. I was going to say, how could it paint chip when it's like varnished? Yeah. So like I say, Perry's miniature. I painted this particular character was completely unpainted, where my other two brigade commanders had their horses were. The actual figures were partly painted and the horses were base coated. I think they were base coated dark brown, and I decided to paint them black, so I kind of went back over them with black. But this particular one I actually did from start, and the main reason I decided to do them was literally because I had leftover paint from painting up the original two, so I kind of added this guy to the sort of the pile just so that I wouldn't waste paint, because the way that you kind of have to mix the colours for the black horse, it always produces more paint than you really need for painting like one or two horses, and it's really more suited for painting sort of 3 or 4 really. But yeah, so like I say, this guy was kind of an extra, but he came out really cool in the end. So let's bring you in a little bit on him. Like I say, it's a great figure. I really do like French officers. They seem to look so much more regal than the Brits. I think it could be just the colours. So there he is, and he's got a horse with some white markings as well. Yeah, so that is it. It's a very, very short update. I've actually still got a bad shoulder. It's taking so long to heal up, and I don't even know how I did it. I think I literally woke up with it, and over the course of 3 or 4 days it just got worse and worse and worse, to the point where I could, I couldn't even lift my arm in any way for like the first week. And even now I can only, I've got full use of my below the elbow back, but I can only really raise my arm to about my sort of upper chest. Anything over that and it starts spasming and it basically hurts. So I'm having, and seemingly it's my primary stick hand as well. I was really having some trouble walking around as well. And to tell the truth, I still kind of am. But let's hope that goes soon, and I'll be back to full-on painting. I've still got my Chasseurs de Cheval and 2 British cannons and a few more brigade commanders left in my Napoleonic pool. And of course, the 4 rifles that came in the Perry's box set. I decided to sort of paint those guys up with the idea of perhaps making them into a little sort of a little skirmish unit to just be independent, like my French Voltiers. But seem to have only got 4 of them. That idea won't really culminate into anything serious until I decide whether to perhaps buy a pack of 95th rifles from Perry's, perhaps to bolster them up, or if I do decide to get another box of Perry's British Infantry, obviously I'll get 4 more and that'll probably do the job. But yeah, that's the end of this update. Very short in comparison to my normal ones. Not particularly amazing content either. I'll bring in the other 2 brigade commanders as well, just to show you. In reality, the amount of time that these guys took to paint is pretty ridiculous, really. You could say that the odds and sods that I've been doing on them have probably taken probably a good month, because I was kind of working on the actual basic figures in between working on my core space figures as well. It's taken me ages. Basically, it's a pretty poor show. But anyway, let's hope things perk up. And I'll catch you in the next one. Catch you later.